welcome to my channel. I am Rosalind Yukich. If you have never been here before, I just want to extend you a warm welcome. Grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and let's sit down and chat. On this channel, I talk about a lot of different things, from cleaning and organizing inspiration to keto to homeschooling and parenting, Bible journaling videos, everything in between. Today is a little bit of a departure from all of that. But there is truly something here for everyone. So by the way, never mind my big fluffy sweater. It is a chilly November morning here and I am needing all of the fluffy everything. We need to, my husband and I have been saying, we need to go out and chop some kindling and light the fire in our wood stove. We heat on central heat, but we have the wood stove, you know, for additional heat when it gets, you know, a little more chilly than usual. And also for, you know, just a little bit of atmosphere. You know it's fall and winter when you have the fire lit in the fireplace. So anyway, today I want to talk about two phrases that I am kicking out of my life. And those two phrases are, we all have the same 24 hours. Which is a phrase that we use a lot like a weapon. You know, there's somebody that you feel like is not organizing their life the way that you think that they should. And, you know, they just don't ever have time for anything. And you're like, well, we all have the same 24 hours. I want to eliminate that phrase. I want to cancel that phrase. I think that, like I said, it's used a lot like a weapon. We're going to talk about that. And the second phrase is not really so much a phrase as it is an idea that, you know, we can all balance our life, that we need to have our schedule, our life perfectly balanced. I'm coming to this topic as someone who's really struggled to balance my life. I work from home. I'm a blogger, a longtime blogger. I've been blogging for about 10 years. I also lead an online Bible study. I am a mom. I'm a homeschooling mom. I'm a wife. I also serve in my church. You know, there are just so many things going on in my life at any given time that it's really hard to balance it all. Actually, it's impossible. It is impossible to balance it all. And that is what I'm talking about today, is we need to cancel these ideas, these phrases of we need to balance our life. We all have the same 24 hours. And here is why. Let's start with the phrase, we all have the same 24 hours. We all have the same 24 hours. That's true. There are only 24 hours in the day, no matter where you live on earth, whether you live in Australia or America or in China or in Europe, you only have 24 hours in the day. And the question is how are you going to spend those 24 hours? How you spend your 24 hours really depends not on what somebody else feels that you should do with those 24 hours, which is usually the person who is saying we all have the same 24 hours is in essence saying, you don't know how to order your life. I do, so let me tell you how you should be spending those 24 hours. But really, it all comes down to priority. How I spend the 24 hours that I'm living in right now is not going to be the same way I spend the 24 hours tomorrow. We all have to order our 24 hours according to our priority. And for some people, priority is sleep. I'm starting with that first because it is something I need to put a better priority on. If you have chronic illness, in particular, if you have a type of chronic fatigue, which could be chronic fatigue, which could be, you know, adrenal fatigue, which is what I have, or anything that's related, you know, hormone imbalances, sleep is your best friend. Sleep is something that you need more of. Sleep is something you need more than the average person needs. For me, I do well when I get about between 8 to 10 hours of sleep. When I'm getting consistently between 8 to 10 hours of sleep, I function really well. And some people would say that's lazy. It's not lazy, it's healthy. For me, now it may not be what another person needs. I know people that function optimally on 5 to 6 hours of sleep. And so the way that they order their 24 hours is going to be vastly different to how I order my 24 hours. Also, there are some people that don't function well when their house is dusty and cluttered and messy, and other people that function perfectly fine when their house is that way. I have 2 children that are a perfect picture of this. I have one child that loves to just have everything ordered and neat and perfectly organized, and I have another child who is happiest when he is living in chaos. Unfortunately, these 2 children share a room. They are very much a picture like my sister and me, and I'm not going to tell you who is who because you know, that's just private between my sister and me. But all growing up, we also shared a room, and it was a constant battle between the one of us who loved to have everything perfectly organized and neat and everything in its place, and the other one who, let's just say, opened up her side of the closet with caution because everything would just pile down on your head. And so the one who is neat and orderly and tidy, they're going to spend a good portion of their time straightening, cleaning, organizing, while the other one is going to order their 24 hours in a totally different way. And for them, maybe their priorities are spending quality time with their children, you know, going out and seeing different places, you know, going and visiting with friends. And some would say, well, they're neglecting their home. And maybe they wouldn't see it that way because they have different priorities. And so I think shooting out the phrase, well, we all have the same 24 hours is a little bit arrogant because it's saying, you know, you're not doing things the right way. Well, maybe for them, they are doing things the right way. They just have different priorities than you do. And we can't all have the same priorities. Now, there are some things that should be a priority for everyone. If you have children, your children should be your priority. If you have a husband, your husband should be your #1 priority, right there under God. Like God is #1, your husband should be #2, your children should be #3, and then things just sort of get ordered according to their priorities after that. Now, how we order things after that is not going to be the same every single day because, and this is what we're going to talk about in balancing our day or balancing our time. And this is where we get into the second thing, the second phrase that I would like to cancel is the concept of balance. I've struggled with this for years. And I actually one year had a word of the year, balance. And I actually was so proud of myself when I got to December and I really felt like I had done so well. Now, it wasn't perfect and I wasn't looking for perfect. I'm a recovering perfectionist. So it was like, okay, I'm not aiming for perfect. You know, only Jesus is perfect. But I really felt like I had done well with the whole balance thing. And all it took was one thing to just put a monkey wrench in that whole idea. And it all just sort of went to chaos. And here's the thing though, we can't balance all of that. You know, the fact that I work from home, that I homeschool, that I lead an online Bible study, that I serve in my church, that I am a mom, that I am a wife, that I'm a blogger, and all of these things that I have going on, if I'm like, okay, I'm going to give, you know, 1/5 of my time here, 1/5 of my time here, blah, blah, blah. And I get to the end and all of a sudden, oh, I forgot. I have a whole ton of laundry in the laundry room. Like literally no one has anything to wear right now. And so now all of these 1/5, now they're going to be all shortened down to 1/6. And then it's just like, oh man, I forgot that I promised the pastor I was going to do this. And now it's like, oh, okay, sit down and restructure it again. I can only say that I understand this perfectly because this has been me for the past several years. Okay. So for the next month, everything's going to just get shortened because I have to take care of this. But once I get that taken care of, then all of the stuff will get a little bit more time. By the time I get this little thing over here taken care of, something else comes out. And so all of these little things over here, they're still getting a little bit of time. And nothing is getting my full attention because everything is only getting a fraction of my attention because I'm trying to perfectly balance everything. And about that time, then I'm like, okay, deep breaths. We can do this. We can do this. You get a seventh of my time. You get a seventh of my time, and all down the line. And then all of a sudden, bam, someone gets sick. How many times have we been here? Seriously, how many times have we been here? Me, I've been here probably 11 times, because that is exactly how it happens. And you know who usually gets sick? Me. And then nobody gets my time because I'm trying to recover from getting sick. But this is how it goes. Why? Because we were not meant to balance everything perfectly. It is impossible to balance everything perfectly. And if you try, you're going to be just like me for the past several years. A hot, stressed out mess. That's how it's been. It's been, take deep breaths. We can do this. Okay, we can do this. We can muscle through. We can get everything done. It may only get a fraction of my attention, but it'll get done. That's not how God meant for us to live. God gives us priorities because there are some times when this one thing needs more of our attention. And instead of trying to equally give everything equal attention, we give this one thing more attention, these other things a little less attention at that time. And there will come a time when these other things back here will come to the forefront and they'll get a little bit more of our attention. And this other thing that has had our attention for a while, and it can just sort of slide back to the back burner, you know, it's okay because it doesn't require as much of our attention. Really what we need isn't balance. Really what we need is wisdom. We need wisdom to know what needs to slide forward and what needs to slide back. And I will tell you, it's not going to go perfectly all the time. There are times that you're going to allow something to slide forward that maybe shouldn't have slid so much forward, where something else needed maybe a little bit more attention, you know, but when you realize, you know, wow, this other thing, it's not getting the attention that it needs, and maybe it just needs a little bit more attention. It's okay. Let the thing then slide forward. Now we know. But daily spending time with God and asking him, God, give me the wisdom that I need to know what things today need to be a priority and what things today need to be a lot less of a priority. There are times, let me tell you, there are times when something school related becomes a massive priority. We are just going to focus all of our attention on that. And then I'm going to give my kids a little bit of an independent independent activity. I'm going to run to the store and get takeout because that thing was a priority. Dinner was a little bit of a less of priority. There are times when laundry sits for 2 or 3 days because having an extended conversation with my son about something that is really bothering him right now was a priority. It was a number one priority. And we sat and we talked about that thing. And then the next day we talked a little bit more about that thing. And then the next day we talked a little bit more about that thing. And you know what? The laundry sitting in the dryer got dried 3 or 4 times because I kept thinking I'm going to shake the wrinkles out and get it out right now. But this other thing was just really much more of a priority. No one suffered. No one went naked in my house. You know, we just dealt with it. And then after that conversation was over, then it was like, hurry up and do 3 or 4 loads of laundry. Now that thing has slid forward. It's become the priority. And, you know, something else has just sort of slid back. And I think that when we get the idea, that judgmental voice out of our head that is saying, listen, girl, everyone has the same 24 hours. You're just being lazy. You're just disorganized. You just don't know what's going on. Or, oh, I need to just balance better. And just all of these fingers pointing at us and telling us that, you know, we just need to do better. We just need to try harder. We just need to fraction things off more. We just need to try to, you know, make things a lot more equal. When we get these judgmental ideas out of our head and then we just begin praying for wisdom, we see that, first of all, we calm down. And I'll tell you, you know as well as I do, that when we calm down, the entire atmosphere of our home calms down. And as we begin to calm down and we begin to recognize it's not about balance, it's not about, you know, ordering those 24 hours the best way that, you know, we should, so that we can maximize what we do in a day, that we just cry out for wisdom. Maybe what needs to slide to the forefront is some sleep, some relaxation, some, you know, me time, some de-stressing. Maybe that's what needs to slide forward, so that we become that happy, joyful, rested, non-stressed out mom that we really want to be. Maybe that's what needs to become the priority. And so learning to just shut off those judgmental voices, canceling those ideas, and then just saying, God, it's not about ordering my 24 hours the most, you know, with the most maximum work possible, and balance everything perfectly so that all of the areas of my life all have equal attention. But it's about listening to your voice, giving me wisdom so that I know what is the most important thing that I need to do today, what needs to slide forward, what can slide back. That's when we become, first of all, the happy, joyful, rested, non-stressed out mom that we want to be, but we also become the gracing friend that we need to be to the other moms in our life, saying, honey, it's not about giving everything equal attention. It's not about you ordering your 24 hours the way other people do. It's about just sitting at the feet of Jesus and getting that wisdom that you need for your day, because the way you do it isn't going to be the same way other people do it, isn't going to be the same way I do it, isn't going to be the same way that our pastor's wife does it. She always looks like she's just got it all together, but it's just going to be the way that God needs you to do it. And your life isn't going to look like everyone else's life. And that's the way it should be. That's okay, because we're not all the same. And so I hope that this video encourages you. I know that this is a little bit of a departure from the content that I usually do, although I will say if you slide way back in my content, you'll find more content just like this content that I did today. I used to do a podcast last year. I had a podcast where I did more content like this. And that podcast isn't running anymore just because of, well, exactly what I'm talking about right now. It became a non-priority and other things slid forward. Primarily homeschooling became the biggest priority for right now. The podcasting was not a priority at all anymore. And so, but every once in a while, when something like this comes to mind, I'll just do another video like this. And so I hope that this was an encouragement to you. If it was, let me know in the comment section below, and also be sure to leave that thumbs up to let me know that you like content like this. And also be sure to follow my channel if you like what I'm doing, and click that bell for notifications. I upload a few times a week. Up until this morning, let me just say, I've been uploading about 5 days a week. I realized early this morning, as I was sort of meditating on this topic, that this is another thing that's sort of gonna slide back just a little bit. 5 days a week is a little bit much for me. It's become a little bit stressful to try to keep up with that schedule. So I have decided I'm going to be doing videos 3 days a week, so that I have wisdom for my days, so that I am prioritizing things the way that they need to be prioritized, so that I am living what I'm speaking, and because I feel like that's the best way we should live. So again, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know. Do all the things, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Today I'm doing a video. Come here. Come here. Oh, somebody wants some attention and love. So you're just gonna watch this video with me and little Mr. Cuddle Buns here, who needs to have his morning cuddles. All the idea that, well, you know, we all have the same 24 hours. Oh, I'm getting some little kitten loves here. Oh, pretty soon he's gonna start nibbling. Mental, and we say this to ourselves. My pastor's wife has her life all together, and there goes the nibbles.